Friday, 6 p.m. Your phone buzzes. Emergency email from your boss. Client crisis. Need this fixed by Monday morning. Your heart starts racing. That familiar cortisol spike hits your system. You're already mentally canceling weekend plans, opening your laptop, diving into panic mode. That's the amateur move. Here's what just happened. Someone weaponized time against your judgment. They bypassed your critical thinking with artificial pressure. They turned a Tuesday problem into a Friday emergency because urgency shuts down your executive function. Marcus Aurelius faced the same psychological siege tactics in the Roman court. Senators creating false crises to force hasty decisions. He developed a power move that still works today. When someone creates fake urgency, you slow it down professionally. The anatomy of psychological siege. 3 weapons dominate modern workplace manipulation. The Friday crisis email, the emergency meeting with no agenda, the client fire drill that somehow becomes your weekend. Watch the pattern. These scenarios share identical DNA. Someone else's poor planning becomes your immediate problem. Their lack of foresight transforms into your urgent action item. They create artificial scarcity around time to force compliance. Your brain responds predictably. Urgency triggers fight or flight. Adrenaline floods your system. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that makes strategic decisions, goes offline. You react instead of respond. You say yes before thinking. You commit resources before evaluating alternatives. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this exact trap. Strip events of the dramatic clothing people dress them in. See situations for what they actually are, not how they're presented to you. Here's the control dichotomy in action. You control your response timeline. You don't control their manufactured pressure. You control the quality of your decision. You don't control their impatience with your process. Real deadlines have objective constraints. Government filing dates, contract expiration times, physical delivery requirements. These exist independent of anyone's emotional state. Artificial deadlines serve psychological purposes. They create compliance through pressure. They bypass negotiation through urgency. They transfer someone's anxiety directly into your nervous system. Notice the pattern recognition here. Agitated executives use time pressure as a dominance tool. They've learned that urgency works. People cave under manufactured pressure. Decisions get made without proper evaluation. Resources get allocated without strategic review. The more senior you become, the more this targeting intensifies. Junior employees get told what to do. Senior professionals get pressured into choosing quickly. The weapon evolves with your position. Same principle when family creates holiday emergencies, when vendors manufacture shipping deadlines, when anyone transforms their planning failure into your immediate crisis. Your composure becomes the counter weapon. Your deliberate pace exposes their manufactured chaos. Your insistence on proper evaluation reveals the artificial nature of their timeline. Seneca practiced this discipline daily. When pressured for immediate answers, he bought thinking space. Not through confrontation, but through professional delay. Let me think about this properly and get back to you. That phrase changes everything. It acknowledges their concern without accepting their timeline. It demonstrates executive presence, not weakness. It creates space between stimulus and response where wisdom operates. The mirror effect kicks in immediately. Your calm consistency makes their agitation obvious. The more frantic they become about timing, the more controlled you appear. The contrast exposes the manufactured nature of their urgency to everyone watching. You're not fighting their pressure. You're creating strategic space where better decisions happen. The strategic delay countermove. Epictetus taught the discipline of assent. Before accepting any premise, pause. Before agreeing to their timeline, examine it. Before letting their urgency become your emergency, create thinking space. Here's your power phrase. Let me think about this properly and get back to you. Notice what this accomplishes. You acknowledge their concern without accepting their manufactured timeline. You demonstrate executive presence through deliberate evaluation. You create space between their stimulus and your response. Seneca mastered this delay of judgment technique during his years advising Nero. Court officials constantly pressured him for immediate decisions on complex matters. His response became legendary. He would buy thinking space professionally, then return with measured analysis instead of reactive solutions. The three-step process works in any scenario. First, acknowledge what they're presenting. I understand this feels urgent to you. Second, clarify the actual timeline constraints. Help me understand what drives the Monday deadline specifically. Third, propose your alternative evaluation period. I'll review this thoroughly tonight and give you my recommendation first thing Tuesday. Watch the transformation happen. That Friday panic email becomes a Monday strategy session. The crisis meeting becomes a structured problem-solving discussion. The client fire drill becomes a systematic evaluation of what actually needs immediate attention versus what can wait for proper analysis. Your slower response demonstrates executive presence, not weakness. Anyone can react quickly under pressure. Only seasoned professionals maintain decision quality, while others lose composure. Speed of response has zero correlation with decision quality. Often, the inverse relationship holds true. The mirror effect intensifies here. Your composure exposes their manufactured chaos. When you remain calm while they escalate urgency, the contrast becomes obvious to everyone involved. Their behavior starts looking unhinged by comparison. Your deliberate pace makes their frantic energy appear unprofessional. Case study walkthrough. Friday afternoon, your boss sends the crisis email. Client threatening to leave unless issue gets resolved by Monday. Your old response would be immediate panic, weekend work, family plans canceled. Your new response follows the discipline of assent. You read the email completely. You identify the actual constraints versus the emotional presentation. You craft your response. I understand the client's concern. Let me evaluate what's actually required to address this and propose the most effective timeline. I'll have a complete analysis and recommendation ready first thing Monday morning. Notice what just happened. You didn't refuse to help. You didn't ignore their concern. You refused to accept their manufactured timeline without proper evaluation. You created professional space for strategic thinking. The pushback comes predictably. But the client is furious. This can't wait until Monday. We need action now. Your response stays consistent. I want to solve this properly, not just quickly. Rushing this decision could create bigger problems. That phrase disarms most urgency manipulation. Nobody argues against solving problems properly. Nobody advocates for creating bigger problems through hasty decisions. Your position becomes unassailable because it's grounded in professional competence, not emotional reactivity. Seneca wrote about this exact scenario. When people demand immediate answers to complex questions, they're usually more interested in your compliance than your wisdom. Your delay of judgment serves the actual problem better than your immediate reaction serves their anxiety. The strategic delay accomplishes multiple objectives simultaneously. It gives you time for proper analysis. It demonstrates your professional standards. It exposes artificial urgency for what it actually is. It maintains your decision-making authority instead of surrendering it to someone else's timeline. Your composure becomes the teaching tool. Other people watch how you handle manufactured pressure. They see that professional evaluation produces better outcomes than reactive compliance. Your example gives them permission to create their own thinking space when faced with similar manipulation. Implementation: your next false urgency encounter. Specific language patterns for de-escalation. I want to handle this thoughtfully, beats, I need more time. Let me evaluate this properly, beats, this seems rushed. I'll have a complete recommendation by, beats, I can't do this right now. Identifying artificial versus legitimate urgency in real time. Ask yourself, what objective constraint creates this timeline? Who benefits from this rushed decision? What's the actual cost of waiting 24 hours for proper evaluation? Practice scenario. Your colleague demands an immediate meeting about a client issue. Old response. Drop everything. Show up unprepared. Agree to whatever they propose. New response. I want to be fully prepared for this discussion. Let's schedule it for tomorrow morning, when I can give this the attention it deserves. Expected pushback handling. They'll escalate emotional language. This is critical. The client is furious. We can't wait. Your response stays measured. That's exactly why I want to handle this properly instead of reactively. Measuring success becomes straightforward. No cortisol spikes when urgent requests arrive. Maintained decision quality under manufactured pressure. Preserved weekend and evening boundaries through professional evaluation periods. The transformation happens gradually. Each time you create thinking space, you strengthen that professional muscle. Each time you delay judgment appropriately, you demonstrate executive presence. Each time you expose artificial urgency, you reduce its power over your decision-making process. Conclusion. Executive by day, Stoic always. You control the pace of your decisions, not their manufactured urgency. Practice the strategic delay technique this week. Comment your results.